So, as I mentioned last time, I have a slave job, um, and I can't afford to take it too seriously. Otherwise, I would never play this. And in fact, I'm taking it less seriously the older I get, the more insecure financially I get, because guess what? Security is simply not guaranteed. And to do it at the cost of one's soul and one's peace of mind and what brings you joy is just not worth it. So I keep it to the bare minimum. And especially since this is an awful place called Takealot, you are just, I'm not going to go there and spoil my day. I'll deal with them later. So the other thing that's been going on is that I've been putting a bit more like a set time where I have 2 hours a day for my music, and I really want to put more accompaniments to my pieces, but it has, and I am working on it. It's so technical. You can do fancy things on these advanced keyboards or at one of those, and then you can go to MIDI software. It's another nightmare. And you can end up spending the whole day on the 2 hours on that for months and months and months, and you'll never even play your instrument. That's basically, it's ridiculous, really. They're still there, yeah. Nevertheless, I'm spending a bit of time on it gradually. I've done some things with it, and it'll gradually come to fruition. So that's why I play solo, because it'd be great if there was somebody here and we could just play, but that's also difficult. You're trying to get used to each other's styles and so on and so on, and not easy when you're coming from totally different places. So that's enough about me now. So I've been trying to improve my sound, and I also want to get a better microphone as well. This is a really cheap microphone, but that'll have to wait 4 months because I'm not working too hard at my slave job. So I've been working at improving my sound, which is great. It's a little bit better than it was. So here's just some improvisation. This is what I always have done. And it looks like I come back to it, Less machines, the better. Now, for me, that's like, this is real music. I mean, sometimes my improvisations are just, experimenting, not really caring how it sounds about it. Sometimes I'm trying to sort of compose music like I am here. Don't know how far I'll get because improvisation's always on the edge and things can go wrong. So I think I'll see if I can remember that more or less. was another artist that worked like this, as far as I know, Keith Jarrett, pianist. And you can't tell me that if I didn't tell you that it was an improvisation, you wouldn't think that it was a real piece of music. Because I've been doing this quite a long time now, and only a few years. Wish I'd done it from the time I played the flute. Stripping away every conception I had to be a jazz player or a classical player or a this player or that player. Obviously I'm using elements of those, the things that I gathered along the way. But it's a very strange thing how especially instrumental players, fit into little niche things. And a lot of that is, there are with a few exceptions. Anyway, I could go on and on about this. So I'm just saying, I'm also speaking to myself, and it's time that I put my stuff on Bandcamp and sold it, because it's actually really good. I always, in a way, by keeping on saying, musicians regard improvisations as a bit suspect. Well, that depends. If they make it an art form and work at it daily or not, and depends on their personality. Are they the kind of person that is quite rigid, or the kind of person who's prepared to take risks? Anyway, not too much talking, so I'm going to do this again. Well, I'm not going to do the same thing again, but I want to still work around this area. So you see here, I started with like a Baroque kind of sequence. And then people can say, oh, but you're just playing Baroque. But wait, I'll do it again. And then I'm going to change it up. I'm going to integrate something in the middle. So that part, I mean, just got to open the door for my cats. So I don't know if he wants to come in. He often sits there for hours. Hey, nuggets. And then I get frozen with the cold. So quite a mission. So like I said, so that was quite interesting, because all I was really doing was something very simple, but it's this kind of mentality that we musicians are schooled with to pass exams. Do it in the style of this, do it in the style of that. So I was just simply playing a few obviously Baroque sequences. What are Baroque sequences? They very symmetrical, like here. First one. Second one. Third one. Can you hear the symmetry in that? It's obvious, right? It needs a bit of skill to do it, because you have to know all your intervals and so on and so on, you know. Have a good memory for the way the notes are sliding in the first one, so you can do the next one. Not that I'm great at it, but I've got some basic skill in it. And then instead of just carrying on in that kind of regular, simple Baroque way, which can be very calming and all that, I just did something very simple for a musician who's trained for a few years, as I played some, often used in jazz, major seventh chords, very quickly. Or part of them. So I'll put them together again and you can hear. Baroque. Now I'm going to go into the So I think you can see the idea, and I could store that very vague idea and say, okay, I'm going to do that and make a longer piece, and then I'm going to put it on Bandcamp and I'm going to sell it because, you know, it's fun. But I think on Bandcamp you have to play to a kind of audience. These days people want meditation music or Baroque music. Listeners are also, you know, a little bit. But you still have to, you know, there's some listeners that are tired of it and they want, I think, new stuff. So, yeah, maybe I should do that. Tell me what you think. Tell me, be quiet, whoever you are, interested in your opinion, really. Tap below. Tell me, please. I hope you enjoyed that. Look, I could finish it off with I think for myself, you know, you can type something below if you've got limited time, or if you got this far. But I'm just going to play now, because, you know, I need to play. This thing's very thing. When I had silence here, that's because music does come from silence. And even though the silence was going, you could feel a mood, right? In those split silences. Something's going on there beyond words in the background, like energy of quietness and calmness, and the music's kind of like a finger pointing towards that state of calmness and quietness. But it's something we have to feel. If you're very busy and frantic, you probably wouldn't feel that. You wouldn't like this music. It might freak you out a bit. But calm people generally do. That's why some of the music I want to do, I think I must definitely, is for that kind of audience that meditates and keep themselves calm and want something to help them do that. So, it's time I took myself more seriously. It's good speaking about this because it's giving me, a lot of ideas. And I really do wish more musicians would not only speak about things but explore something different. So I think I'll leave it at that. Not everybody's got a lot of time, and anyone who managed to get this far, thank you so much. I do appreciate it, and I really would like your comments and your ideas, if you have any, of encouragement and some of the ideas that I talked about. Thank you.